Welcome to Horror Night Stories. Tonight's story isn't folklore. It's something that people lived through. Something that lingers. Listen carefully and don't leave early. Because some things once heard follow you. I urge you watch the full story. Your mind might thank you. Your sanity, maybe even more. And after, leave a comment. Tell me, if you were in that house, what would you do first? This is the Perron Farmhouse Haunting. In 1971, Roger and Carolyn Perron moved with their 5 daughters into a large farmhouse in rural Rhode Island. It was old, certainly had character, but little did they know. That character carried shadows. The house had stood vacant for years before them. Paint peeling, windows cracked, but far more than decay. Something else was there, a strange heaviness in the air. Doors creaked when no wind blew, cold spots that seemed to follow you inside. At first, the strange things were small objects out of place, laughter in the hall at night. The children complained of a woman standing in dark corners, staring. One daughter said she felt something brush by her bed each night. Carolyn thought maybe grief from decades of loss in the house, maybe rats or drafts. But it got worse. One evening, there was a sound like footsteps in the attic. Roger went up to check, flashlight in hand. The floorboards squeaked. The beam of light caught something. At first he thought a coat or cloth, but it moved. A silhouette hunched, then gone. The next night, the air smelled like something rotting in the basement. When they checked, nothing physical was there. But tools and boxes had been shifted, scratched. One of the daughters woke up screaming. She came into my room. Rows of footprints on the dusty floor. A whisper, "Leave." The family tried to ignore, tried to stay rational. They didn't want to talk to anyone, because who believes this? A few neighbors mentioned seeing a woman in white in the windows. But by day, the house looked empty, quiet. Then came the say-ain'ts. That's where things broke. Paranormal investigators were called. They documented cold readings, EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, where voices called the names of the daughters. One recording, "Get out, leave now." At midnight, during one of the investigations, lights flickered. A chair slid by itself, heavy breathing that no one could trace. Something touched Carolyn's arm, chilled so cold she nearly passed out. The worst was the mirror. In one room, a long mirror in the hallway. One of the daughters, young and curious, was told not to look into it during the dark. But she did. In its reflection behind her, she saw the woman in white, face distorted, eyes hollow. She turned around, nothing. Then looked back at mirror, figure still there watching. Roger and Carolyn tried everything, cleansing, prayer, removing items, but nothing expelled the presence. It seemed bound to the house. In the end, the Perrons left, moved out. The house remained. It stood empty, filled with echoes. Tourists later reported seeing faces at windows, hearing dull laughter, and feeling watched. But here's the thing. The house didn't just haunt them. It collected them. Some nights, when the sky is still, people say you can hear footsteps in that farmhouse. Voices calling names of children who once lived there. And worst of all, some say that if you watch this story and then drive by an old farmhouse alone, you might feel a breath on your neck, hear your name whispered. So I warn you, stay away from mirrors after dark. Don't visit houses you don't know. And if you ever hear laughter in the silence, do not look over your shoulder. You've just heard the Perron Farmhouse Haunting. If you're still with me, perhaps the shadows have already touched your mind. If you believe this is real, tell me in the comments which part would scare you most. The mirror, the footsteps, or the whisper. Like the video if you want more true hauntings. Subscribe, because once you start listening, you may never stop hearing the echoes.